Okay, our next tool, the interactive blend tool, which is just located directly underneath our text mode right over here, has a flyout, and it does have quite a few different tool functions. We will lightly go through each one. There are certain tools that you may use more than others. So we'll just start with the interactive blend tool. And what that does is it allows us to create multiple shapes from one shape to another shape. I guess the easiest way for me to tell you or show you is I'll just create a square, and I'm going to do is create another square over here. If I use the interactive blend mode, basically I'm saying blending that shape to that shape, and you can see the path that it's taken. It's created multiple shapes. How many? 20. If you look up here is my steps, so it's created 20. So I may want to say only 5. This right here is sort of like your acceleration. I want to have a few more shapes on top and less on the bottom. This interactive blend will blend not only shapes, but it will do that with color. If you change your colors over, it will allow us to change that from your yellow to your somewhat magenta, and we can move this around and it will always follow it. Even if I use the shape tool, you can see it's starting to go through. So it's a useful tool for when you want to have multiple shapes coming through or using different functions. Let me show you. This is my world's greatest spiral graph. I like to think of it as being. I'm just going to create a line over here. I'm going to hold the control key down, and I'm going to just create these two lines. Again, I'm going to use the interactive blend, and I'll blend these two lines together. So here we can now move this shape, and it will follow it no matter what. Right click, select to curve, and here you have a nice graphical line moving through. So this, kind of neat for certain functions for creating lines, and again, it will change colors when you're blending through. It is my spiral graph, the ultimate of spiral graphs, I guess. And here we'll blend also the two colors. The next tool over is interactive contour tool. So I'm going to remove that. What that does is it allows us to create an outline for a tool. And what I mean by that is, let's just create a shape. And if I want to create an outline, I'll select the interactive blend, and you can see it's creating multiple outlines for that particular shape. And again, you can go through and change it, step it up, step it down. It's sort of like the contour tool in the menu up here. So that's our interactive blend tool. Let's remove that. This tool right here, interactive distortion tool, kind of a neat little tool. I guess the best way, I'll just type out some text. Again, it can be used for anything. It's just probably easiest for me to show you with text. And I'm just going to give a bold typeface. So there's my bold typeface. There's my interactive distortion tool. Oh, let's just hold that. Wrong tool. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to click on that shape. Now I'm going to use this interactive distortion tool, and you can see how it distorts that shape. And you can create by chance really unusual shapes and graphic designs, and it will proportionately scale things in a geometric way. So this is it's kind of a fun tool. If I got a circle and use my interactive distortion and then clicked on it, so you can see the shape that it's creating. Moving this around will change its desired looks and results. So you can see that. So that's kind of I guess a fun tool if you want to make these unusual shapes and whatnot. The drop shadow. Just click and drag on your image, and it will create a drop shadow. You do have to be careful when creating drop shadows. When it comes time to print and the processing, the information about this drop shadow is extremely large. If you have a slow computer, it will take a lengthy time to render. So that's our drop shadow. I'll just undo all that so I can get my next tool function. So if you want a drop shadow here, just click on it and then click and drag in the direction you want your drop shadow, and you can just move it up, lighten it up, move it around. Okay, this is the guy, the interactive envelope. This is a kind of a useful tool. I'm going to select my text now, and you can distort your text whatever you want with this interactive envelope. So it's has full controls. By now you should be familiar that these are handles, these are nodes, so all the functions, it's no different than if I was using the pencil tool and drawing this out. I can take that node, delete it, now it's a straight line, and you have full control of distorting your text on how you like to distort it. So that makes that fairly easy, and that's your interactive envelope tool. The interactive extrude tool, I think that's pretty well self-explanatory. I'm going to have to create a text here, and I'll just make it larger, and we'll extrude this. And what direction do you want to extrude it? It's a little more complicated in the sense of your selections of colors, so you do want to be careful what you're doing. Very rarely am I extruding a lot of shapes with the interactive extrude tool. I just I don't find there you go, right there. It's okay for certain things, and again, functions, so you want to experiment with that using the interactive extrude tool. Again, there's when you go to it, does give us options, the highlights and everything else. When you get a little red circle around here, that just means remove that extrude, and then you can, you know, extrude to a direction. Rotation, how do I want a direction of my extrude? Okay, so just experiment with this, and you can see it's got to fill black, so it doesn't work too well when you do it that way. Not one of my favorite tools. The interactive transparency fill, we use that once in a while. We're in our grade 11 lessons. If I take a color and if I put it over on top of this text, it's opaque. If I go to my interactive transparency tool and click and drag in a direction, we can actually see through it. Nice little tool, nice feature. I do like this tool. So that is a nice tool to use for your colors and whatnot. So when you are coloring in Corel, and that is your interactive transparency tool. So I think we kind of quickly gone through all these tools. The interactive blend tool is probably the most common tool, and then the interactive envelope is a great tool. You can use your distortion tool. Okay, I think that ends that one for our sort of stepping tool.